Chapter 13. Terms of Peace. The noise is deafening. The catacomb growls, snarls, shrieks of pain. Your head swivels from one end of the field to the other, your mind barely able to process the carnage. Werewolves, fangs dripping with blood, tear the limbs off their vampire enemies. Vampires screeching and terrifying in battle rip into the wolves' throats while bats attack in deadly swooping hordes. The ground is covered in crimson, the bodies of the dead and dying. You look away, but your horror only grows as you spot civilian casualties lying amongst the wreckage. Oh my god, that's Peter! A sharp growl and a flash of dark fur, and you spin. It's Skylar, loping through the battle towards Alexander, who's crouched to strike and more frightening than you've ever seen him. One of us dies tonight, Wolf, and I promise it will not be me. I have to try and stop them. Hard in your throat, you sprint through the battle, dodging vampires and werewolves as they leap and tear and claw. You scream over the den of battle, frantically waving your arms. Stop! Stop! When you get to Alexander and Skylar, they're locked in furious combat. Skylar's jaws clamped around Alexander's arm, giving it a vicious shake. No, Skylar, don't! Let him go! Let him... Alexander screams as the bone snaps. Then he snarls and sinks his fangs into the dense fur of Skylar's throat. Skylar howls, his eyes rolling back in his head. No! And then you wake up. Heart pounding with fear, adrenaline, a moment of real relief as you realize you're in your room at the B&B. Yeah, I was going to ask, where did Alexander get all the other vampires? It was a dream, just a dream, just a dream. But even as your muscles loose their tension and you still can't catch your breath, you twist to throw back the covers. But I can't move. I can't breathe. What is happening? Good morning, Lila. Your eyes focus and you find yourself staring in the entity's face, only inches above your own. She tisks her lips, curling into a cold, heartless smile. Did you like my little show? Oh, can't breathe. My apologies. The pressure eases and you draw in a deep, shuddering breath. Better? Yes. Now, those horrors you just witnessed, that was only the preview of things to come. Tonight's battle will be bloody and cruel. Many will die, including your beloved wolf and vampire. And it will all be your fault. You've made things quite a mess, my dear. However, I do have some good news. It is in your power. Stop it. I'm going to flirt with her. No. Lash out, scream for help. Lash out. You grit your teeth, flailing desperately to push her off. Get off of me. Your arms break free and you swing them through the air, but once again your hands pass right through her shadowy form. Silly girl, have you learned yet you can't touch me? Now stop fighting. Your arms jerk back and she pins you to the bed. What do you want? Your anger, darling. Struggling, the violence, the rage I feed on it, and yours is quite delicious. This is your entire town. I was so pleased when you stopped here. Such an array of powerful creatures, all raging and fighting. It's like my own personal feast. Supernaturals make for much heartier meal than paltry humans. Leave them alone. I will. I promise. When you give me what I'm owed. With a whoosh, she's gone. You gasp and roll to your side, dragging air into your lungs in desperate gulps. It's my fault. She followed me my whole life. It's me she wants, not the town, and I think the only way to get her away from them is to leave. All that, and she'll stop having hearty meals. Still terrified, you throw on your clothes and yank open the door to find Peter in the hall, hand raised to knock. Peter, oh, I am so happy to see you. Lila, I heard voices. What's wrong? She was here, the entity, in my room. What? But the house is warded, especially your room. She's getting stronger, Peter. She told me she was. It's the energy of Hidden Grove. She's feeding off the supernaturals here. He looks away, shaking his head as his fingers trail across his chin. So that's why she was able to get to me. Wait, what? She attacked you? Where? How? Why didn't you tell me? She caught me alone in the garden. I didn't say anything because I didn't want to scare you. You've been dealing with this your whole life. My few minutes of terror is nothing compared to that. Did she say anything to you? Oh, your typical puny little fae, you can't protect her, she's mine, kind of thing. I cast a deflection spell and tossed her ass out. It was one of those, scariest experiences of my life, however. Which is saying something, because I've been around magic a few times. I'm shocked she was able to get into the house, though. I've got this place warded to the rafters. But I promise, Lila, it won't happen again. I'm gonna pack this place top to bottom with every charm spell and incantation known to fae. I'm not so much worried about myself as I am for Alexander and Skylar. She's had plenty of chances to kill me, and she never has. The two of them, though. If she targets them for real, she's not gonna hold back. Now, with this war coming, they're in danger not just from her, but from each other. Peter, what happens now? Peter takes a long, slow breath. I wish I could tell you. War is a very unpredictable thing. What happened in the last one? Not gonna sugarcoat it. It was a bloodbath. Vampires, werewolves nearly wiped each other out. You groan and put your head in your hands. Peter, say something funny, crack a joke, anything I need to laugh right now? Peter pulls your hands away and looks into your eyes, his expression usually sorrowful. I wish I could, I really do, but even I can't find anything funny in this. Then what the hell do I do? Look, I may not be able to stop this war or this entity, but I may have something that'll make you worry a little less. Come with me. You follow him into the bedroom and watch him open a panel you hadn't noticed on the side of a clock, revealing a small safe. Do you have a stash of gold bullion I don't know about? Nope. Better. He pulls open the safe and carefully takes out an antique jeweler's box. Inside is a sparkling faceted stone on a silver chain. What is it? It's called an Aegis. They're objects that have been imbued with strong protection magic. Whoever wears one can walk through the fiercest battle and come out without a scratch. They're very rare. I'd like you to have it. Maybe it'll serve you and one of your paramours as well as it's served me all these years. I feel better knowing at least one of them is safe. It's pretty. You run your fingers lightly over the sparkling facets of the jewel and your skin tingles. It's almost like it's got a heartbeat. Yes, the Maker put a spark of his or her soul into it. That's why it's so effective. It's protected me in a very dire situation once. It'll definitely be enough to repel that nasty demon and anything else it encounters. Who did you need protecting from? Well, long story short, I was a lot more, shall we say, hot-headed back when I was than I am now, and it got me into trouble a lot. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I was so bad I ran afoul of a particularly nasty witch who was hell-bent on cursing me into oblivion, so my beloved made me this, a combination lover's token and protection charm. And it worked. Oh, here I am, aren't I? Your entity might be strong, but this... He smiles and taps the jewel. It is stronger. So, who do you think you'll give it to? I really wish there was a choice for I don't know right now, but... Alexander's alone. Skylar has a pack. I'm gonna go with Alexander. He needs it more. The vampires that are coming to fight with him, they have nothing personal invested in this. They won't be able to match the anger and fierceness of a pack of werewolves protecting their territory and their alpha. I think you made the right choice. Now, let me get busy charming the hell out of this house. Oh, and before I go, I heard the pack is holding a council of war tonight. I know, I made it over there in my last-ditch effort to attempt to talk them out of it. I can't thank you enough, Peter. I'm so glad you're my friend. I'm glad you're a paying customer. Now, go out there and knock some sense into the Furbanes. As you head into the wolf territory, you practice the speech you're going to give Skylar and the wolves, but when you arrive at the house, it all flies out the head at the sight of the entire pack gathered around the door. And instead of a serious concern, they're excited, chatting, laughing as they talk about the battle to come. I can't wait to take out some of those bloodsuckers tonight. Exactly. This is gonna be awesome. Oh no, they're never gonna listen. I'll have to corner Skylar, at least he's got some sense, I hope. But just before you step out of the trees, you hesitate. They may like me, but they know I care for Alexander, and if they're in this mood, this is not gonna do me any favors. I'm going to sneak in the back way. I don't need the hassle of a pack of werewolves thinking I'm spying for the other side. Skylar's bedroom window is close enough to the ground that I can climb in. Come to think of it, this might be useful in the future. You skirt quietly around to the back. The window's open, but it's a lot higher than you thought. This should be fun. You take a running jump and grab the sill, your feet scrabbling against the siding. Suddenly, hands clamp around your wrists and yank you in. You're a terrible cat burglar, Lila. You try climbing the side of a house in these shoes. Where's Skylar? In the living room playing war games with the rest of the knuckleheads. So, you don't think this is a good idea either? War is never a good idea. Especially where supernaturals are involved. I'll bring him here, but maybe you can get through to him. As Grace goes to fetch Skylar, you peek through the door to see him poring over maps and plans with the werewolf leadership. He's in full general mode, but when Grace points to you, his expression softens. Hold on, guys, I need a sec. Skylar comes into the bedroom and shuts the door. Hey, you. Always nice to have you surprise me in my bedroom. Another time, Skylar. Right now. Lila, I know what you're going to say. Then let me say it. You're the alpha. Is it really worth sending your pack to war when, in the end, all you'll achieve is getting people killed? Don't worry about us. We're more than capable of handling a few vampires, and what we'll achieve in eradication of the vampire threat. Alexander isn't a threat, you know it. He crosses his arms, and just like that, the fun-loving Skylar you know is gone. You're talking to the alpha now, and he's not backing down. He broke the treaty. So did you! Shouldn't they, I don't know, cancel each other out? Skylar, the entity was in my room this morning. What? He clasped your shoulders, frantically looking you over. Are you okay? How did you get in? Peter swore the house was warded. I'm fine. Peter's upping the power of the protective charms now, but the reason I'm telling you is because she got past the wards, because she's getting stronger. She told me she feeds off the negative energy of anger and violence, and this war is just gonna make it worse. She's a liar, Lila. Not about this. Skylar growls, his powerful alpha dominance making your knees shake. Lila, being an alpha is about making hard decisions, and putting the pack at risk is the hardest. But I've made it. There's no going back. That's it. He's not gonna listen. You gulp back a sob and reluctantly nod your head. Nothing I can say to make you change your mind. No, I'm sorry, Lila. Please go back to Peter. Don't leave the B&B tonight, no matter what. Disheartened, you follow Skylar back in the living room, but just as you're about to leave, Hunter walks through the front door. Grace told me you're trying to talk him out of it. Any luck? No. He said because the pack knows the treaty was broken, there's nothing he can do. Unfortunately, he's right on that point. Is there anything in that treaty that might stop this? Some loopholes, codicil, addendum, anything that could head this off before we have a massacre in our hands. I've been an archivist for years, Lila. I know that treaty like the back of my hand. Both of them. Believe me, if I could think of something, I would have brought it up already. Damn. That was my last hope. Unless... don't keep me waiting, Hunter. Spit it out. I'm thinking, if you read the treaty, maybe you'll find something I missed. A lot to be said for having new eyes on it. It's a long shot, but I think it's worth a try. We'll try anything to help. You follow Hunter to a windowless building at the edge of the camp where a yellow document and leather-bound journal sit side by side in a glass case. This is where the house historical documents. There's no windows, and it's cheaper to control light and moisture degrade paper. And this treaty is very old. What's this book beside it? It's an eyewitness account of war. That could be useful to read, too. Give you some context for how the Peace of Concordance came about. You have to understand vampires and werewolves have a long history of mutual animosity. The battle that took place in Hidden Grove was a single skirmish in a war that's lasted for centuries. Do you know... how it started in the first place? Unfortunately, that information's lost to time. I can only give you the werewolf perspective, which is, from the beginning, the packs considered themselves protectors, and vampires were the bad guys. Yes, whether that's fair or not, I can't really tell you, but it's a history that's been handed down to us and we take it seriously. But no creature is all good or all bad. There are plenty of legends where werewolves cause destruction, killing whole communities. True. But you have to admit, even humans tend to ignore things that they don't want to see. Werewolves, I'm sad to say, are much different. I'm a historian as well as an archivist. When you read as much history as I do, you realize that situations like the one we're in are rarely black and white. Which is why we should read the journal first. It was written by a human named Christopher Daniel. He was an eyewitness to the events leading up to the battle. That's about as objective as you're going to get. Carefully, he removes the treaty and the journal from the case and lays them out on the table. You sit beside him as he places them in front of you. Let's start here. This entry is dated 5 days before the Battle of Holden Field. For many nights have the two armies harried each other through the wilderness, from the werewolves' territory in the east to the vampire nesting grounds in the deep of the woods. A delegation of townsfolk led by Christopher Daniel pleaded with the Wolves' general to stop the war that was causing so much devastation in our small community. General, we beg you, you must stop this war. The fighting has ravaged our crops, destroyed our barns and homes. Our enemies take shelter there. We cannot allow them to escape. But this is your fight, not ours. Yet we pay the price for your centuries-old war. All we want is to live in peace. We will do our best to keep the fighting away from town. It is the vampires who put you in danger. Perhaps you should speak with them. The hell's up with the trees looking weird? Braving their deadly ire, we entered the Acular Castle to plead our case to the vampire elders. General Mathis has said your resistance is the reason the war continues. It is a lie. We made our home here in Hidden Grove long before the werewolves came, long before humans came. We will defend our lands and our nesting places to our dying breaths. Is there nothing we can do to convince you? Until the werewolves surrender, we will keep fighting. Our survival depends on it. On the night of May 5th, the most devastating battle took place upon Samuel Holden's farm. Holden rushed his family to safety, but remained to protect his land. Stop! Stop! Out of the way, you fool! Samuel Holden rushed between the armies, hoping mercy would stay their hand, but the fires of hatred burned too bright. The armies came together in a clash of claw and fang. You take a deep breath, stunned by how vivid and brutal Christopher Daniel's account is. Wow. So, that's what a good writer is, when they actually, really immerse you. I miss that. So, was Samuel Holden killed? Yes, and it wasn't just him. According to our records, at least 10 humans in Hidden Grove were caught in the crossfire against bat attacks, flying stones, silver crossbow bolts. They didn't stand a chance. So, is that how the war ended, because of human casualties? Yes. Humans have always outnumbered supernaturals, and the vampire and werewolf community knew if more humans were killed, they would come together to wipe us all out. And 200 years later, here I am, another human trying to stop a werewolf-vampire war. Yeah, let's read the treaty to see if we can figure out a way to make that happen. Hunter lays the treaty out on the table, carefully brushing back the curled edges. So these are the articles of peace both sides agreed to, signed at the bottom by the elders of the vampire clan and the Pax Alpha. There shall be, from the conclusion of this treaty, a firm, inviolable peace between the vampire clan and the werewolf pack of Hidden Grove. This peace, however, shall be dependent upon the terms outlined below. Alpha Hemming, have we at last come to terms? We have. However, I would like to go through the articles individually to make sure our language is clear. That is agreeable to me. Article 1. There shall be no physical contact of any kind between vampires and werewolves. Are we agreed? We are. Article 2. Vampires shall not trespass upon werewolf lands. The border extended from the eastern shore of Somerset Lake to the base of Mount Hudson. And similarly, do the werewolves agree to avoid the vampire nesting grounds of Acular Castle, Summer Glen, and the Dark Woods? We agree. Article 3. Both sides shall leave the humans of Hidden Grove at peace, and any that do not know of us shall remain in ignorance, the better to preserve the safety of the clan and the pack. Article 4. Should any of these terms be violated, the werewolf and vampire communities shall punish the offender in any way they see fit, including execution. Robert, once again I urge you to strike that clause. It is unnecessarily punitive, and in the future could it reignite animosity between us. We need a forceful deterrent, Henry. Simple censure or exile will not be enough. Very well. On behalf of the vampire clans, I agree to all terms. Then, let us sign and put this painful conflict to rest. And that's it. Robert Hemming and Henry Acklar signed the treaty and ended the war. But not before a lot of people died. Hunter... Was Henry Acklar Alexander's sire? He was. Alexander may have even been at the signing. You'd have to ask him, though. I don't know if he'd tell me, actually. I think he still hunted humans back then. He's ashamed of it. Alexander's come a long way, and Schuyler doesn't give him enough credit. Neither does the pack. That's because prejudice has always been there. Hunter carefully puts the treaty and the journal back into the case and lets out a long sigh. Well, what do you think? Any help? A little. I just wish there was something here I could use. Me too, but Article 1 is clear. No physical contact, and that's exactly what Alexander and Schuyler did. Yeah, there's no way around it. Yeah, but they also broke the other article. The humans, they exposed themselves to them. The ones that were ignorant didn't know. Right now, it's Schuyler and Alexander who are the offenders. I dislike to say that, but it is true. So another peace treaty or something needs to be worked out before things get worse. Or an understanding, a meeting. Well, how about this? Now that you know the story, why don't you use it to remind everyone what happens in war? You think that'll work? All we can do is try. I'll talk to Schuyler while you work on Alexander, deal? Deal. I'll get over to the castle now. Thank you for this, Hunter. My pleasure. I'm always happy to talk your ear off about werewolf history. When you reach the castle, you go straight to the library, expecting to find Alexander poring over battle plans. Instead, every surface is piled high with every kind of weapon imaginable. Daggers, crossbow, lances. Lila, is that you? Yes, Alexander, where are you? By the window. You slip carefully around the deadly stacks and find Alexander in a chair, quietly polishing a wicked-looking sword. Beside him, a crate of glass vials filled with clear, purple liquid. What's that purple stuff? You carefully lift the vial to take a better look. That's pretty. Essence of wolfsbane. In centuries past, we would throw them from the battlements. They break open on impact, incapacitating the wolves. That's awful. It's effective. This is a war, Lila, not a Sunday afternoon in the park. You pick up what looks to be a crossbow, the bolt tipped with a shiny metal spike. This is silver, Alexander. All of these weapons are. How do you use them without getting burned? Gloves will adequately shield my skin. The wolf's fur, on the other hand, offers no such protection. I have been hunting as well. I am now a significant strength to hold the wolves off. Alexander, please. You can't go through with this. People are going to get hurt. They're going to die. Including civilians. I just read through the treaty with Hunter. Your sire signed it. You must have been there. I was, but I promise, no humans will be harmed this time. You can't keep that promise. I don't want to lose you, Alexander, or Skylar, or Peter, or any of the people in Hidden Grove. Lila, it warms my heart that you care, but my honor is at stake. It requires me to see this through to the end. If I can't talk you out of it, can you at least promise me you'll wear this? You pull the Aegis out of your pocket and hold it up. The dangling jewel casting sparkles on the wall. He stands and takes it reverently from your hand. Is this an Aegis? Where did you find it? Peter gave it to me. Of course. Did he tell you their history? Fey warriors of old would carry them into battle. They say that those who wear them cannot be touched. He turns away and you get the feeling he's trying hard to contain his emotions. Throughout history, vampires have been portrayed as villains of every story. To be given something this ancient, heroes wore, it means more than I can say. You're too sexy to be a villain. Have you not watched your movies? Villains are always sexy. Have you met Ultron? Thanos. You want me to go? You want me to keep going? Nah, I was never into that whole bad boy thing. Heroes are way sexier. As are heroines. He takes you in his arms, pulling your body flush against him as he rests his forehead to yours. I will treasure this always, Lila. As long as you wear it always. You have my word. You kept his face in your hands and brushing your thumb lightly across his lips. Alexander, come back to me. Of course I will. It will take more than a few angry werewolves to conquer me. I wish we didn't have to test that theory. Nor do I. But the course is set, Lila. I must follow it to the end. You brush your lips slightly to his. He sighs and tightens his arms around you. His lips part, his tongue tangling slowly with yours. The kiss is romantic, soft, so different from the fiery way he's always kissed you. It's like he's saying goodbye. Alexander... He pushes you gently away and settles back in the chair. There's a sense of finality about it, but also sadness. Now, though I love your company, Lila, I must ask you to leave me. Sundown will soon be here, and I still have preparations to make. You look around, suddenly realizing how quiet and empty the house feels. When's your backup arriving? Shouldn't they be here by now? Alexander clears his throat and resumes polishing the sword, pointedly and avoiding the question. A feeling of dread knocks your stomach. You did call for reinforcements, right? I have not. Your heart skips a beat and you stare at him for a moment, speechless with shock, and finally you sputter out. You're planning on fighting an entire wolf pack on your own. Are you insane? That's... The bats will fight alongside me. That will be sufficient to hold off the attack. Your mind spins through the implications of his decision, and the only conclusion you can come to is... Oh my god, he wants to get himself killed. I can't let him do this, but if reason isn't working, how else do I get through to him? You link your hands above your hot head and spin away, desperately trying to come up with a way to save Alexander from himself. I'll have to stall him, take his mind off his weapons and his death wish while I think of something that'll convince him not to go. Distract him with my body. Really? I know, ladies are gonna be like, oh my god! No, I'm sorry. It's YouTube. There are so many odd things in this place. If I ask him about all of them, it'll buy me some time. You take a calming breath, slowly circle the room, casually running your fingers over his strange and varied possessions while he continues to work on the sword. Alexander... What the hell is this ball thing? You pick up the iron, faceted object sitting on the desk, each of its sides punctuated with a strange hole. Is it a paperweight? Some kind of ancient gardening tool? This is a Roman dodecahedron, one of the greatest mysteries of the ancient world. Scholars do not know what their purpose was, but at any other time, I would be pleased to talk about the history of every object in this room, but I suspect you're attempting to stall me. Is it that obvious? You sigh and push aside the sword to kneel at his feet. Please, don't make me beg. He puts the weapon down with a heavy sigh, and for a moment you think you might have gotten to him. But when you see the look in his eyes, no matter what I do, you're never gonna listen, are you? I'm sorry, Lila. You do not know how sorry I am. But you should. You should go back to Peter. That is the safest place for you now. You run to the werewolf territory instead. Find Skylar in the middle of his pack. It's getting to a halt as they all turn to stare. Lila, what's wrong? Get Skylar alone. Skylar, a word? We already... Things have changed. We don't have time for... Skylar holds up his hand for silence. No, something's changed and I have to hear this out. Skylar leads you away from the group, folds his arms across his chest. This better be good, Lila. Alexander hasn't called any backup. He's planning on facing the entire pack alone. What? Why? Honestly, I think he's trying to offer himself as a sacrificial lamb. Skylar looks out the windows, taking a moment to think, and then he nods. You're right. It does change things. Can you convince the pack? Yeah. We may be unruly, but we're not cold-hearted killers. The other claws. They fight each other. You follow him back to the meeting, noting the various looks of skepticism on their faces. Don't tell me she convinced you to call this off. There's mitigating circumstances. It looks like Alexander is planning to face us alone. Well, that'll certainly be getting things easier. Get rid of the entire problem right here. And if we do that, one vampire against an entire pack of werewolves, what does that make us? Murderers. Thank you, Grace. The word hangs heavy in the air, and then one by one the wolves nod their heads. Right, and there's no honor in that. Hope blossoms in your heart, and you breathe a sigh of relief. Skylar, So I'll be facing Alexander myself. A one-on-one duel is the only ethical solution. No, I won't let you kill Alexander. Do you admit I'm a better fighter? Oh god, your pride. Your ego, it's just... You're both good fighters, but Alexander clearly has a death wish. I don't know if he'll fight back. But even if he does, I gave him the Aegis. He's invulnerable, and Skylar will die. Skylar claps his hands, and the pack snaps to attention. Alright, everyone, stand down. This is a one-on-one duel now. Grace, come with me as my second. Grace shoots you a quick, sympathetic look, and then nods. Yes, Alpha. The next hour is the longest and worst of your life, and all too soon, you, Skylar, and Grace are walking towards Alexander, standing solitary at the still edge of the darkened field. Where is your army, Wolf? Lila told me you were planning on facing all of us alone. Alexander narrows his eyes at you, and you shiver. Not sure if that look is anger or gratitude, but he focuses back on Skylar. Probably both. I was. Well, stupid death wishes aside, it's against our code of honor for a pack to fight a lone opponent. Will the wolves have honor? I shall alert the media. God damn it. Skylar growls and you jump between them. What the hell, Alexander? Are you trying to provoke him? I thought it was a funny joke. I'm simply astonished. In my experience, werewolves are lawless, feral beasts. You feel a whisper of cold and shadow whistle around you. It's the entity. She must be pushing him, both of them. This is not you talking, Alexander. It's the entity. Sounds like him to me. Listen, damn it. If you do this, you're playing right into her hands. She's fanning the flames between you and feeding on the anger and chaos. She wants you to fight. She didn't want you to die. And when you're gone, there will be no one standing between me and certain death. She's right. No, she's not, because the only person dying tonight is this bloodsucker. I'll be fine, and I would never let her touch you, Lila. Bold words, Wolf. I'll be the one to walk off this field unscathed, and Lila shall have my protection for all time. So that's it. You're gonna fight no matter what I say. They hesitate, grinding their teeth. You feel another malevolent gust of cold, and the rage and heat of 1,000 suns ignites in their narrowed eyes. Yes. Hell yes, get back, Lila. Skylar growls, his human body giving way to the power of a wolf. Alexander's eyes turn blood red, and he crouches, ready to spring. If I'm gonna stop this, I've got one card left to play. Fine, ignore me and everything I have to say. You both claim to care about me, and then you throw it all away over nothing? Then go ahead and destroy yourselves. I'm not sticking around to watch. No, I thought your other card to play was get in between them. You offer yourself as a sacrifice. Not even the entity would want that to happen, because this is it. It's the end of her lineage. It's the end of her curse. You swipe away an angry tear and send it up a silent prayer that just hold some power over these fools you've come to love. I'm leaving for good. Whatever. Without further ado, thank you all for watching. Please remember to, if you enjoy the content, to basically support it. It's as simple as that. You know, like, share, subscribe. Yeah, things like that. Aside from that, once again, thank you all for watching. I'll catch you on the next video. Let me know your thoughts down below. Peace out.